New York state prosecutors have filed a lawsuit in the Supreme Court with new allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Black Monday was perversely triggered by good economic news, and Disney announced price increases as demand spikes for their new theme park attractions. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm Elliot Bullman. Let's go to the information. New York prosecutors have filed a lawsuit against the Weinstein Company in the New York Supreme Court and include new and extensive allegations against Weinstein. According to court documents, the lawsuit seems to remedy a years-long gender-based hostile work environment. It targets Harvey Weinstein for allegations of sexual misconduct, as well as the executives and board of the Weinstein Company for failing to protect employees from Weinstein himself. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said on Sunday he had filed the suit against the Weinstein Company, Mr. Weinstein himself, and his brother Robert. Meanwhile, the Weinstein Company has held discussions with investors over a possible sale. It's reported that businesswoman Maria Contreras Sweet led talks to buy the studio for $500 million. However, Mr. Schneiderman said in a statement that neither perpetrators nor enablers will be unjustly enriched by any sale of the studio, that the sale must ensure that victims will be compensated. He added that every New Yorker has a right to a workplace free of sexual harassment, intimidation and fear. In other news, last week's market turmoil, dubbed the Wall Street bloodbath, was triggered by the latest US jobs report. According to the January data released last Friday, non-farm payrolls grew by 200,000 in January and the unemployment rate was 4.1%. So what's wrong with that, you may ask? It's all good news, right? Most Americans would struggle to work out why this would cause share prices to plunge. After all, unemployment has been coming down steadily for years, during which time US workers have struggled to make ends meet. Annual earnings growth is still running below 3%. However, the moment the jobs report came out, it was as though a switch had been flipped. Markets now viewed stronger US growth with trepidation because they thought it would result in higher inflation and tougher action from the US central bank, the Federal Reserve. Donald Trump's package of tax cuts, finally pushed through Congress at the end of last year, ceased to be the growth-boosting, productivity-enhancing benefit to the economy it had been in 2017, and suddenly became a means of overheating the economy and driving up the US budget deficit. From Wall Street's perspective, these are seen as unwelcome developments. In 2017, the financial markets bought shares. They thought the US was in for a prolonged period of strong growth, weak inflation, and low interest rates. The game changer is inflation because it pushes up the risk-free rate, and a higher risk-free rate makes risky assets such as stocks relatively less attractive. The improving world economy means rising employment and pay, and thus rising inflation and interest rates. Moving on. Walt Disney Company said on Sunday it was changing the admissions price for its US theme park, raising the cost of some single-day tickets by almost 9%. Disney, which has a three-tier structure that charges visitors more during peak periods to help spread out crowds, said peak one-day tickets for single theme parks at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California, would see the biggest increase, rising to $135 from $124. At Walt Disney World in Florida, a one-day ticket to the Magic Kingdom Park during peak season increased by $5, or 4%, to $129. Buoyed by new attractions like Pandora, the World of Avatar, the theme parks and resorts accounted for a third of Disney's $55.1 billion in 2017 revenue, with domestic attendance hitting a record high. The increased demand has generated crowding and longer waits for visitors during popular times like spring break. The company also said it plans to make changes to its annual pass program at Disneyland, as well as make its multiple-day tickets to Walt Disney World date-specific in order to help manage crowds, particularly as it prepares to open a new Star Wars attraction at both parks next year. And finally, let's turn to the markets. The Mexican peso decreased 0.45% to 18.61 from 18.7 in the previous trading session. On the other hand, the IPC Mexico increased 0.07% to 47,830 from 47,799 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Google+, and log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.
Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, solo por México News Network Televisión.